Now, where we are right now is these gangs are little militias. They're being trained. You can see I could send you a video. If you look at the video, you could probably make a guess of, got a good idea who might be training them just by their, and I know.
Yeah.
When you train people, we have our mannerisms, we have our ways of carrying weapons, the way we deal, and you could see techniques and stuff that's being used. But the fact that they've got body armor, they've got better vehicles than the police, it's really gone to that level now, and that's where it's been up until really the last month. So we've been trying to get in and out, and without there's no point taking a risk when you don't need to. So we've waited, and as Jules has alluded to, the people, our factory, our schools wanted, rather than sit at home and wait to get burned to death alive or attacked or raped or whatever it is, they went, we feel safer in our numbers, and the numbers are when they get back to the factory, because there's over 50 of them. So they'll get to the factory. They've got power. They're all together. They feel secure. The mind's off the chaos outside those walls, and they're doing something. So they're willing to totally risk their lives to get into that environment. And to be fair, and we didn't want them to do that. They begged us to do it. And she asked me to make an essay, and I said, you can't take that risk, because if one gets kidnapped to do it, we've got. But at the end of the day, they decided that they're going to do it anyway. So that's basically what they did. So then we put in position wherever we could, anything that would help us with the contacts we had. Should we need a vehicle? Should we need this? Even at one point, I think we had an helicopter on standby to get people out. It never really materialized, and doesn't really matter. But so we had things in place where we could. So where we are today is the guys and the girls have been going to work and they're turning over work. They're happy at work. It's a bizarre situation. We'll FaceTime them and they're happy. But then they've got to do that run of death to get home, and touch wood. They've done all right. We've had a few little incidents. One of our I'll call her a chef. One of our chefs was killed outside the building, and that was actually not gang related. It was a vehicle out of control that smashed her into the wall, and unfortunately she got killed. We've had people robbed, a couple of people robbed, but we've been very, very lucky. So where we are today is the factory's still going. They're turning over, doing an amazing job making school shoes. Jules and her team on the outside have been, batting around trying to get work for them, and they're basically producing school shoes for all the kids in Haiti, because they're the only ones who can do it. And it's going, I will say, she can update you more in a minute. It's going really well. So it's giving them a purpose. We're able to pay them, so we're keeping it going. The kids are still going. Kids are resilient. They're like, you ain't stopping us. So we're putting shoes on their feet and they're walking to school, and they're doing it. And it's amazing, mate. It really is. Now where we're at, last week, bizarrely, a friend of mine that worked out in Libya, an ex-military guy, contacts me and he goes, hey, I'm in Haiti. I went, what are you doing in Haiti? Works for an American company called Comonix, which you probably know, deal with all the USA contracts and all that sort of stuff. He goes, yeah, we've been out here for years, blah, blah, blah. He's gone in to do a risk assessment, and he's a very good friend of mine. So we've just had a meeting with him. So we now are hoping in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we can go back in. There's an implementation force gone in from Kenya. Now,
I was going to ask you guys about that. I mean, for people who have never done a little geography searching and looked at where, Haiti is in comparison to Kenya, let's just say it's not hopscotchable distance. It's literally an ocean and the continent of Africa away.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that was some part of a UN force, because what I was reading was, 200 Kenyan police officers in that initial force have arrived.
Yeah.
How did it, you couldn't find any, I mean, I'm glad that they're there, but really? You couldn't find anybody closer than Kenya to support? How did that end up happening?
So I was just, there's so many weird things about that, and I've read so many different theories about it. But one of the theories was that Canada, America, and Mexico and France, nobody wanted to go in themselves, but Canada is doing some kind of deal with the Kenyans where I think they're gonna offer jobs to Kenyans, or they're doing some kind of deal if they'll go into Haiti.
And citizenship.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but it is very bizarre. Why Kenya?
Yeah. Same thing. I'm like, why Kenya? Kenya's got its own problems,
We've just heard so many different theories, and we just don't know. And I'm dying for the real answers, and if we get them, we'll share for sure.
I was looking it up this morning, on the maps, zooming into Haiti, and then put in Kenya, and it zooms out, rotates the globe about halfway, and then zooms back in. What the fuck?
Exactly. What the fuck?
It's
We're like,
absolutely nuts.
who fucking did this? Whose great idea was this one?
Yeah.
But to be fair for us and the people of Haiti is they're just glad someone's come.
Yeah.
There's 200. So what I believe at the minute there was 200 there about 3 weeks ago. They were held down because they didn't have any rules of engagement. It's
Yeah.
still a bit of a cluster.
And who are they working for? I mean, if the government has been demolished, are they trying to create an environment for safety that a government can be rebuilt? I
Yes.
mean, who are they answering to?
That's exactly what they're doing. But who's actually controlling it? I guess it would probably be the head of the security forces, police, I would imagine. It's like a temporary sort of politician stroke, whatever.
And from
But
what we heard, your friends at the SWAT team is
yeah,
kind of controlling like this. Their SWAT is like trying to break up gangs or go into the gang members. So I think that they're tailing,
I think the gangs have got to the point now where they think we're sick of killing each other now. There's nothing else to rob or take. What do we do now?
Yeah.
So whoever's heading that up and talking with the head of the police, I think that's the only sort of, if you want to call that a government at the moment, I believe, I might be wrong. They're talking, they went, right, let's get somebody. So the Kenyans have come in and they're kind of neutral to everybody, I suppose. They're not French, they're not Spanish.
yeah, that's good.
So that's kind of, all right, we'll agree on that if you like. So they've come in and they've actually been going out on the street, showing a presence. The gangs apparently have let them come down and take the barriers down. They've started taking the barriers down themselves. They've withdrawn. There's less aggression and problems going on, although there is stuff still going on for sure.
Yeah.
So these 200 Kenyans have been out there, showed their face. They're ready. They're now just, which you'd think they'd be in place, but writing up their standard operation procedures, how they operate. Now, what I have been told, and they're looking at building a green zone style security barrier around Port-au-Prince, pushing the gangs out, pushing people out into the countryside and all that, which is going to cause another problem, of course, because people haven't got nothing anyway. But I guess for now, all they're interested in is stopping the violence, taking the weapons out, getting some sort of control to build a government of some sort. That's where we're at now. That's what I believe.